Have you ever been interviewed and been asked this question about how many tennis balls there are in a particular city? I'm too dumb for that question. I don't play tennis. I get all frazzled about that. Okay, I've gotten asked, how many hairdressers do you think there are in the greater whatever, city area? And I don't know. Shall we look it up in the phone book? Okay, phone books don't exist anymore, so maybe we can Google that. Real life jobs have nothing to do with this random selection process that we have set up.
But now, if you want to have a great employee to bring innovation, creativity, customer service, you need the whole person to show up. You need their motivation, you need their commitment, you need their personality to show up.
Is it the candidate's fault for doing exactly what the system is designed to do, which is that they're supposed to sell themselves? They're supposed to say, yes, of course I'm a team player. Yes, of course I'm willing to go the extra mile. Of course I'm passionate about whatever values you have written on the side of this conference room wall. I'm going to glance at them and I'm going to nod very passionately about. As a candidate, I think if we ask the right questions, the candidates can address them, whether it's experience or background or anything. But we don't ask that. Do you know, once I had a job where about a week or so into it, I literally had to find the job description because I thought, what? Could it be that I misunderstood that badly?
I can tell you most people that are younger, and telling you from working in software sales and seeing with the people that I work with, we literally as friends will talk, and even in some cases, people will be sitting in their jobs looking for a new job. And as soon as a better job comes up, they're gone. They don't care. And the only time that I've ever sat with any managers were ones that were not understanding that potential person was literally, it really comes back. It's really as simple as wasn't engaged.
I think as a feeling, we all know when we've not been engaged. We all know when we haven't liked the job. We all know when we are looking forward to the weekend, right? But I think, engagement doesn't look like a Bollywood film, So, nobody's running through a field of flowers.
When I'm writing my resume and when I'm reading a resume, there's nothing comparable between the information that I choose to put on it and what another person chooses to put on it. Even something as basic as, do you start with the experience or do you start with your education? Do you add something like, what is your objective? Or do you summarize what your background is? There's so many schools of thought of what is the right thing to do. I've even had someone say to me, you should make sure that you don't put your name in too big font because they don't know you and it's irrelevant that you're taking up so much space. People will give you feedback like, you have to include the date. Others say, no, just including the month and year is okay. And all of this minutia, everyone's an expert, and truly, no one is. Especially when you write a cover letter. You're just sitting there second guessing what the hiring manager wants to know. And if you've read a cover letter like I have, at best, they don't make you cringe. I've never read a cover letter that made me more interested in meeting somebody. So, when I look at this process, I thought, well, isn't it better? Aren't we better off when I hire someone if I can ask them 3 questions? I already know if that's one of the people that I want to meet or not meet. Before I even start scrolling through every experience I've ever had, let's face it, you don't know if someone has had a particular experience and just at that moment decided not to include it. So I would rather ask very clear questions and say, have you done this? Are you willing to do this? Do you know this? What experience level do you have with this specific platform, this software, this technology, this industry, this specific position, this specific role? That already tells me whether that's a person that I want to spend a bit more time with. And then on top of that, as I started to understand, in my career, I've had a lot of different jobs. and the ones that I loved and the ones I hated, what was the red thread? And this is not just me. You know this. You know this very well, and so does everyone else. The great jobs always have something to do with great managers, and the worst jobs, they also have something to do with the manager. People really don't leave companies. They really leave that relationship. So then, when I started to see this amazing proof of how eHarmony is not just assessing compatibility, but able to do it so successfully and with tools that are accessible to all of us. You know, let's face it, we spend so much time in the office. We need that relationship to be as solid as any other relationship that we have, because we really spent too much time in that relationship for that to not work. I think we can all do things for a short term, but when we're talking about a long-term working relationship that is satisfying both our curiosity, our contribution, our connection, then that needs to be a partnership that works for both people.
So you're really onto something. My question is more from an employee engagement, from someone who is working in, let's say, not a technical role, I'm more of a sales role, but how can we use some of these tools ourselves when we're in an interview to filter out basically crappy companies to work for, to put it in a lack of a better term?
My heart really goes out for the employees, because as an employer, there is this idea that the manager is faultless. You know, we are going to be perfect, and you like buyer's market versus seller's market. So what can the employees do? Well, that's exactly why on our platform, the candidates, when they can as they bookmark jobs, they can also see how well is the compatibility. So they also get this rating. So if their example is like, if they have 3 to 5 jobs in your basket that you want to have a look at, you can filter it and sort it and whatnot by also this alignment, this values alignment, by the compatibility alignment. So as a candidate, you also can say, wow, both jobs look equally interesting, but this one, the fit with the hiring manager on this database, it shows that it might be better. And you have that information then as you step through the interviews to say, if it came down to it, which one do you really want to go for, you know? I mean, all jobs are not created equal, right? But you also get that insight of what is your compatibility. So that, I think that's one of the things we are offering applicants as well.